The rain tapped softly against the glass walls of the café, a rhythm that matched the emptiness inside him. Ethan Marlowe, one of the richest men in the country, sat alone at the corner table. The glow of his diamond watch shimmered against his coffee cup, but his eyes were distant, cold, and lost somewhere in the noise of his thoughts. For the world, he was success. Luxury cars, skyscrapers, headlines, but behind the expensive suit was a man who had forgotten what peace felt like. He came to the cafe every Friday, always alone, always with the same order, black coffee, no sugar. He didn't notice people anymore. Not the laughter, not the warmth, not the small kindnesses that once made life feel real. But that day was different. When the waitress approached, she nearly spilled the cup in front of him. "I'm so sorry, sir," she said quickly, her voice soft but trembling. Ethan looked up, annoyed at first, but then stopped. Her eyes, tired but kind, met his, and for a brief second, something shifted inside him. Her name tag read Lila. "It's fine," he said quietly. "You look tired. Long day." She nodded, forcing a small smile. "Double shift. My mom's in the hospital, so I'm covering extra hours." He froze. "Which hospital?" "Street. Mary's," she replied, brushing a tear before it could fall. She used to be a nurse there. It's hard seeing her in a bed she once helped others out of. Ethan's breath caught. Street. Mary's. He knew that name well. It was one of the first hospitals his company had helped rebuild years ago. But he had never gone there, never met a single patient, never spoken to a nurse. For him, it had always been about numbers and contracts, not people. Until now. He left a generous tip on the table, but Lila refused to take it. "Thank you, sir, but my mom always said, earn your kindness, never take it." Her words lingered long after she walked away. That night, for the first time in years, Ethan couldn't sleep. He kept hearing her mother's words in his mind, feeling a strange ache in his chest that success had never been able to fill. The next morning, he drove to St. Mary's Hospital. The nurses greeted him with surprise. No one expected the billionaire whose name was on the donation wing to actually show up. As he walked down the hallway, he saw her again. Lila, sitting by her mother's bed, holding her hand and whispering softly. Her mother turned her head weakly and smiled. "You must be Mr. Marlowe," she said in a frail voice. Ethan stepped closer, unsure what to say. I just wanted to visit. I heard you worked here once." She nodded slowly. "Yes, you saved this hospital, Mr. Marlowe. You gave us walls and machines, but what you gave me most was hope. I only wish you could see how many lives your help changed." He looked around the ward, children laughing, nurses smiling, life continuing. And for the first time, he realized something money had never taught him. Real wealth isn't built in banks, it's built in hearts. A week later, Lila returned to the cafe to find an envelope waiting for her. Inside was a handwritten note and a folded check. Greater than, "Dear Lila, your mother reminded me that kindness is the only investment that never fails. Use this to make her dream come true. Ethan Marlowe." Tears filled her eyes as she saw the amount, $250,000. Enough to build the small community clinic her mother had always talked about. Months later, Ethan received a photograph in the mail. Lila stood smiling beside her mother in front of a modest brick building. On the wall behind them, a sign read, "The Hope Center, in loving memory of those who heal with kindness." For the first time in years, Ethan smiled, truly smiled. He didn't feel like a billionaire that day. He felt like a man who had finally remembered what it meant to be human. The rain outside no longer sounded lonely. It sounded alive, because sometimes, all it takes is one cup of coffee, one stranger's kindness, to remind us that the heart is the richest thing we own.